I just hope say as the rain, they no go quench light for your side.
That be what I dey pray. This one I capture.
I tell you, it's so talking to her. Charlie, yes, I do put the so talk cry. No one come out self because Charlie, a quiny na say,
When I side to.
hmm, so talk quiny na say.
Ah, and see what else they do for you.
What do you do for where?
And see the this thing inside. I don't want stream am live for Telegram. I go Telegram now and see join fast now.
Ah, Geospatial. But I can't see it being streamed in Telegram.
I no share the link for there yet.
Uh, so apparently, I have to come to campus and come and do presentation
Going that.
on tomorrow on the COVID applications.
Ah,
And I
for
was
what?
supposed, I don't know, that's what Doc said.
Maybe tomorrow or
Eh?
be Wednesday.
Is it tomorrow or Wednesday?
Wednesday for confirm.
Ah, oh, then Wednesday I can't make it because I basically I was supposed to travel tomorrow and I thought the thing was tomorrow. So I called the traveling off. I told the advisor that I can't make it. Sana,
For
it be
confirm for mom because he said tomorrow to GGA get some program, so I don't know whether it be that one.
yeah, I'll call him and see because I don't know. I'll call him. Charlie, we AC no fix here now. I we are not live, so we can talk.
Uh, I been my AC there always there.
Ah, Charlie, but we you soon actively.
Yeah, why that's half I offer him because the rain.
How in power drainage they like?
Oh me, I know they see difference like that too.
Mm.
It's some small gap, be sometimes 10 cities, sometimes 20 cities.
Some of them we postpaid and not postpaid.
Prepaid.
Oh, okay.
On our own be the one you dey buy with the app on.
App no. Ah. Because Charlie, I'm just thinking some member back when Shami Hona.
Uh, they help. The difference will be in there. People they
Oh
talk
yeah,
plenty.
because Charlie sometimes heat, you know. So me maybe I'm say the way my size self no be that big like that in the Sanka a year can say. Nsuo no a ɛtɔ wɔ hɔ na Radi a they hear the thunder for here no. Mm. Na meka sɛ nka agya wotɔ a na sɛ nka me hɔ no nkwa nso saa nti bɛyɛ 30 minutes mpo a na wɔadum no.
Yeah, I mean,
Na I go see say the end of the month atɔ bia.
say a big man.
Charlie mini scout Darius.
Obia always get Bia so in this car.
Ghana wo obi a ɔde ne nsa si ne bo aka sɛ memi wɔ sika da. Ghana ha.
In America.
Adeɛ no wonka sɛ wowɔ sika koraa yɛhwehwɛ agye wo na
Ozambe
woka
UN.
sɛ ɛne wowu koraa. Oh, then Wednesday I can make it because I basically I was supposed to travel tomorrow and I thought the thing was tomorrow. You were recording? I called
We did live on YouTube now. I just the one. I
Oh,
they
okay.
set them ready so say if we go on.
Great. Um, 1 minute. I'll come.
I sure I know we'll get feedback.
I don't get anything from my end.
I think it'll be okay.
Mm.
Sick of maybe night and it really no be that sharp, but it's chill.
Yeah.
Make I share the link for there. So now we'll go live now.
Okay.
I share the link so people can join.
Sure. Francis, then you're not coming to talk, say the sound is not coming.
they call me, sir. And
Mm.
see, they hear now.
Mm. Yeah, thunder no the thunder no boom sound.
Yeah. And see, still not they hear. I think which defer to the third station of the here, make a check.
Charlie, it's no office here. I think we are not live. But we slow. Actually, how where 30 minutes apart.
Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Charlie, please go. There was. Yeah, kind of Obio did this in the burgers and it's kind of. Then one castle was Copra, yeah, the Shadow, and us. Oh, castle. Yeah, and the roof. Because this I was supposed to travel tomorrow. You were recording.
We did live on YouTube now. I just the one. And they sent them already, so say if you want. Uh, the people watching live streams said they can't hear us. I'm just wondering why.
Oh, okay.
I sure I know we'll get feedback.
You are
I don't get
replaying
anything from my.
everything back again. Are those recorded?
I think it'll be okay. But maybe night, you really know be that sharp, but chill out. Yeah. Ben, the light
Yeah.
is behaving funny. So now we'll go live now. I share the link so people can join. Sure. Hello. Hello, Francis. Yeah, Nathan. I can hear you. Well, why is it that nobody is talking? I think Francis Francis, then not come to talk, say the sound is not coming. Yes, I think that I don't know why people are not hearing. That's what I'm trying to fix, but they call me, sir. I see. Super, are you there? You dey hear now? So I think we can go to YouTube. It's telecasted live on YouTube now. Yes, you can hear the Marichi, can you hear me? I can hear you. I can hear the now. Yes, so it looks like when we are talking, we can hear ourselves, but in the telecast itself, we are not hearing the voice. I'm using a computer. Turn on the boom sound. Yeah. I see still not here. I think we should different data station of the year, make a check. Which are the listen? Francis. Yeah. I'm not sure Francis mic is working. Richie, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah. So I'm saying that I don't know why the streaming is not coming, but it's coming. I can hear from YouTube. I'm watching YouTube now. It's coming. So I've shared the YouTube link. You can send that to the page, and then people can watch from YouTube there.
Okay, hold on. Let me test it quick.
All right, but it looks like YouTube is delayed by some minutes. So, Ben, so you can unmute yourself and then talk, and let's see.
Yeah, I'm unmuted already. Can you hear me?
Ben, I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Just wave if you can hear me. Then, okay, so let me check this again.
Still not
Hello, Ben,
coming.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hmm, cool.
All right, so officially, Ben, good evening.
Good evening, Francis.
Yes, I think this evening is going to be a nice evening. This is the
Yeah.
first time. This is the first time we're actually going to have like one-on-one talk about your work. We mostly talk about it in passing, but I think today we'll have
Hmm.
the opportunity to come to understand more about your path and then the history behind where you've got into.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think to begin with, to those who do not know Ben Akins, we'll let him introduce himself. He tells us his name, the organization he works for, his hobbies, and then his educational background. Then we can start from there.
Okay. So, thank you for hosting me this evening. So, my father named me Ben Emunah Aikins, and yeah, so that is my name, basically. And yeah, on the way up, I also named myself with a couple of. I just tagged myself with a couple of names, which I'm not so sure I'm going to mention, but yeah, maybe later we'll talk about that. And I currently work with GIZ, which is the German Agency for International Cooperation, and I work as a technical advisor with GIZ, and so that has been my organization since May this year. So it's not really been a very long time with them. Well, when it comes to my hobbies, basically, I love to play basketball. That is my favorite thing. I love to play basketball, and of course, I also love to do a lot of research and study on cryptocurrencies and then the stock market. So that is also something that I am very, very, very much enthusiastic, and yeah, it has gotten my attention for the past years, and yeah, I love it. Now, my educational background, I started my schooling. I wouldn't go or just date it back so much. I'll just start from primary school. I was in a Methodist school in Takrade. There's a place called Intraban, so I attended Intraban Methodist school, where I later relocated and I went to Shama Model JHS, and from Shama Model, I found my way to what used to be its former secondary school, and that is Shama Senior High School. That is where I studied. I was a general art student, so I basically did geography, I did government, I did economics, and of course, elective mathematics with the other core. And then I completed in 2012, and I didn't come to school. I mean tertiary the same year because I just had to be at home for 1 year for very good reason, of course. And then in 2013, I found myself in University of Ghana, and I must say my early times in University of Ghana wasn't the best because uh, I always thought that I didn't have the course that I really loved or wanted to study, and so I really wanted economics so much, but University of Ghana just happened to find a way of turning what you want to do to something else, basically. So I got the combinations, geography, history with dance studies. So in level 100, you should see me dancing in level 100. It was pretty fun. And then I dropped dance. I dropped dance not because of anything. I was a pretty good dancer, but I didn't drop it because I got C in the second semester, which involved practical session, and so that wasn't the reason. But yeah, um, I went on with history, and so I basically minored history, and then I majored in geography. So that is more or less a brief background, and then something small about me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I like the part that you said you're a very good dancer. Maybe
Yeah, I am. I
very
am.
good dancer who had a C
I'm
in
a good
practicals.
dancer.
That's very ironic.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
we should just
Yeah,
stop that.
so I think it's interesting for you to come up with the points that you really didn't, the courses you wanted to study was not what you were given at the university,
Yeah.
and you were really interested in economics, and you ended up majoring in geography. Um, when you majored in geography, what was your objective? Did you have anything you wanted to do with geography, or that was the
Mm.
only option you had?
Well, basically, growing up, I more or less found myself to be quite versatile. I had a funny way of learning things, especially when it's a practical thing. Well, except for dance, especially when it's a practical thing. I had a very, very nice way of learning something because basically when you show me something, how to do it, if I see you doing it, it's very, very easy for me to replicate. So when I started geography, we got to level 200, 300. Honestly, I really did not know what I was going to do with my geography, honestly, because at that time, I never knew even the proper career opportunities within geography. Even though in level 100, we were talking about some career opportunities. Yeah, you could be that, you could be this, you could be that. But hardly have I really seen somebody study geography and then if the person has not been or doesn't become a geography teacher. I mean, in my mind, I was like, what exactly am I going to do with this? And you should even hear some of the comments that you get from family members, especially your some of your educated uncles, be like, geography unless teaching. I mean, you are doing geography unless teaching. That is basically because before then I had not even heard of GIS. I never knew what it was and all that. So when I started IC, I just wanted to complete and then get out of the system and then find something else to do. So yeah, that is basically the answer to that question. I really didn't know where I was going, but yeah.
Okay, so how or where did you come across GIS with what you just said?
Right. So I came across GIS in level 200 second semester, just when we're about to go home, vacate for that semester. Myself and my very good friend, we were looking at the courses that we are going to take the following semester. and we just saw geographic information systems, and he happened to have spoken to some of the guys before us, the level 300 and the 400 guys, and he had some insights. He told me that, oh, this is the part of geography that you can actually, work with computers. You can do that. You can do that. I was like, oh, okay, it sounds interesting. So my very first time hearing and seeing something about GIS was in level 200, second semester, just when we were about going home, and then we were looking through those courses, and okay, they told me something about it. I still didn't even bother to look it up until we started really the course in level 300, and yeah, I saw the whole nature of it. Yeah.
So when you started the course, would you say you had an interest before you started, or you just started as just one of the elective you had chosen?
Yeah, so before we started, of course, before our very first introductory course, I know who took me through the introductory course. Obviously, was Professor Berima. He took us to the introductory course, and we did remote sensing then. And yeah, our very first class is when I really, really kind of happened to appreciated the whole system of GIS and then remote sensing. And it even got better when we got into our very first practical class. And I was like, okay, I feel this is it. Yes, I really did not know how far the course can take me, but then I was like, this is easy because yeah, I know computers, I love computers, I love working with computers, and to for me to even be able to blend what I'm studying in school with something that is computer or technology oriented to make something useful out of it. I think this might be my field. And at that moment I realized that it could really, really be something that I can take up. And I started doing research then on it. Okay, job prospects on GIS and remote sensing. And trust me, it really, really got my attention then. And then that is where I more or less took the whole thing very, very serious. And yeah, and it's more or less became part and parcel of me now. Yeah.
What was the one thing that you say that's really made you become interested? What was the very thing that was very interesting about GIS?
Okay, let's just think about this. I love visualizing things. I really love visualization. Okay, so if it's very stunning, it's very nice. It feels different when I look at something that is we pass by, or we use road networks all the time. We see electric lines all the time. Everything around us, buildings, everything. And it really fascinated me when I saw how we can use GIS and even remote sensing itself to model these things so that we can have all those things that we see around us that seem very big. It seems huge. It seems like these are things that I cannot control. These are things that I cannot manage. With that ability for GIS to bring the whole system into a complete box in your palm, okay, that you can manipulate, you can control, you can manage. That is the part that basically got me. Okay, it got me so much because starting remote sensing, okay, they gave the remote sensing definition. I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. And then they taught us how to download images and subset areas and take a look at it. Okay, I was like, oh, I'm basically studying this place from the comfort of the lab or in my room, wherever. So I have the entire area, this whole big area in the palm of my hand. I can manipulate it. I can come up with reasons why things happen and all that. That is basically that part that got me so much. Yeah.
Yes, I think that I'm interested in the way you describe this. I can't imagine any better way of describing what you just said. The
Yeah.
ability to bring the whole world or things around you that you feel you don't have control into your palm,
Yeah.
because you can manipulate it. You can try to create future scenarios of how things are
Exactly.
going to happen
Exactly.
before they actually happen, and you can tell
Absolutely.
what should be put in place to make sure things are actually working. I think
Yeah.
it's one of the ways that if you tell anyone who is not doing GIS will be very
Hmm.
interested
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just take up
True.
GIS. I think
Hmm.
I like that part. But then now
Yeah.
we come back to your work as an advisor to GIZ. Are you
Yeah.
doing a work relating to GIS?
Yeah, so just like I'm not really an advisor to GIZ, but let's say I'm an advisor for them. So I don't advise GIZ, but then working with GIZ, I advise MMDAs, Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies. So basically, when it comes to issues of my department, we usually deal with revenue mobilization, and it's just amazing to think how we've been able to incorporate GIS, okay, into revenue mobilization. It's just amazing because who ever thought that, oh, you could use GIS to basically model and then facilitate proper revenue mobilization. It's just crazy. And so the GIS bit of it deals with street naming and property addressing, property mapping, and all these things in it. It's a whole broader spectrum. And so your duty as an advisor would be to basically advise the district assemblies as to the right practices. So you could conduct trainings here and there on how to digitize parcels, how to digitize your road networks, how to create attribution on the road networks, transfer those attribution, and then you guide them as to the proper principles of street naming, property addressing, and then once all these things are done, we have a system that we have created for them. And on this system, you also provide, in quote, a peculiar advice, because it's not really general, but that advice is more or less to that particular system. So my specific role in GIZ is to help the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization, and Rural Development to set up an IT help desk, because this particular application is called DLREV that we have set up, sooner or later is going to be transferred to the ministry. And so my major role is to train the IT guys who would very soon be managing this application to be able to run updates, be able to fix things, issues that might come up in the near future. So basically, that is my role as an advisor.
Okay, I think this will be interesting for many people who are watching us now,
Yeah,
especially those who want to go into GIS and have been asking questions like, what are the opportunities out there for me?
yeah,
I work with the university, and most of the time, the students who come and do GIS, after doing GIS the first semester, they are wondering whether they should continue with it or not. And some of the
yeah,
questions that I get is, if I do GIS, what can I become? They have not yet gotten the picture that you just given. But
yeah.
I want to ask, since you're an advisor to these organizations, if the
Mm.
ministry and the politicians start understanding that GIS is actually the fundamental or the
Mm.
vehicle on which we need to drive the economies of our country,
Yeah.
how are they taking it? Do you think that there's prospect for people who actually wants to come into GIS? By the time they come, would there be jobs? Would the ministry adopt this GIS technology?
Yeah. Thank you very much. That is pretty much a nice question. Now, I would first of all even advise whoever wants to undertake GIS as a professional, a career. Let me just say, should worry less about what the um, the big people in the ministry think and what they think not. Okay, because at the end of the day, when it comes to GIS, I feel like the only limitation on GIS is uh, your imagination. Okay, because you can just sit and think and, okay, come up with a way that, okay, how do we solve this problem spatially? Your idea will just be mind blowing. Let's just We have Uber. How many people even think that Uber is a typical GIS application in operation? Very few people know that it's actually a GIS application that is working. People think it's just an app, a regular mobile phone app, but then everything, the algorithm and everything that is operating under it is GIS, and you don't need any ministry to basically approve if you are bringing up such an application, right? So my advice to such individuals, first of all, do not worry about politics, politicians, and whatnot. No, that is not your focus. Your focus first is to understand the fundamentals, open your eyes to possibilities, and then just read everything. That is the number one thing, because GIS, that I feel there is no possibility. And in the near future, nobody will tell our 60 years and then probably 70-year-old politicians that they should embrace spatial technology, because it will inevitably rule. In my opinion, it will inevitably rule. It's just automatic. Yeah.
Okay, so I know you've been doing GIS for a while. With what the angle you've answered this question,
Hmm.
uh, what would you say are the challenges or the challenge you had faced since your career?
In my career, the one challenge that I have faced and I still continue to face, I think it's pretty much because of where we happen to find ourselves on the part of the earth, is availability of data. It's very, 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 very sad to have um, very solid idea. Okay, you have a concept in mind, but at the end of the day, you do not have data to execute such concepts. GIS is driven by data. You cannot perform GIS without data. And I believe that whoever is experienced in the field of GIS also understands that um, data is expensive. Okay, data is expensive as well. I mean, data collection in general is expensive. And for us to find ourselves in the part of the world where such a system or technology is not very much appreciated, and so we don't even find the need to store data, manage data, collect data, and do all those things. I think it makes studies very, very difficult. If I'm allowed to give a typical example, Francis, I believe we have probably talked about some of these things a number of times over and over and over again. Just imagine you want to embark on a study, say areas like the coastal zones. I would name maybe Sekendi Takrade, also not because I'm from there, but yeah, generally. And then look at a place like Accra, all the way around the coastal areas. We have an issue of cloud cover on satellite images here and there. Even when it comes to Google Earth, I could tell you that when you zoom into a place on Google Earth, a place like Shama, you would realize that the image over there, you can literally use it for nothing. Okay, you can literally use it for nothing. And I'm saying this because in 2000, late 2016, I had an opportunity from TomTom. TomTom, they are actually a map making company and navigation services in the United States. And they are interested in us mapping rural areas, predominantly the road networks, and they will pick some important attributes in there for them. And you don't have access to high resolution because they are expensive, and the only available aerial photography that you could use would be the Google Earth. And then we just go to a place like Shama or Apam or some rural area, and they realize that you can literally do nothing with the image. You can't see any road network in there for you to even digitize, and it's sad. Okay, so my biggest challenge always has been availability of data, because I believe that there are young people coming up, and if we deprive them, if we are not even able to do much to get some data, establish a spatial data infrastructure somewhere to help us at least store some spatial data, it's really going to be hell for them. So the biggest challenge, in my opinion, has been availability of quality data.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting when it comes to that particular coastal area you're talking about. Do you
Yeah,
know that in 2018, I actually had a research I was doing around Takrady, the STMA, and
yeah.
because of cloud cover, as at now the research is not done
Mm-hmm.
because all the images are full of
Exactly.
clouds and you can't use it for.
Exactly.
So
You
I
can do it.
understand, I understand your challenge. But to
Yeah.
our viewers, those of us watching us from YouTube, you can send your questions. If you have questions for Ben, you can send it to the YouTube live chat. We'll see it and then ask it on your behalf. Also, I want to use this opportunity to tell those who are watching us for the first time what we are, who we are, what Geospatial it's all about. The Word Geospatial is a team of Geospatial specialists or scientists who have come together to decide to solve the problems in our society using geospatial technologies. And one of the things that I think I'm happy to uh, inform Ben is the fact that this Saturday we actually are launching a spatial data infrastructure, which
Nice.
we've worked on over the years. We will provide a couple of data sets
Nice.
for the public. It's going to be free. We are going to collaborate with institutions to also collate data that they have also put aside, and we'll make sure that we get all the data in one particular place. So this
Okay.
Saturday we'll watch out, and then we'll be able to do a couple of demonstration for you, so you can navigate your way around the
Nice.
SDI when you go there. Okay, it's
Nice.
going to be completely free, so everyone can get
Nice.
data and then work with it. Okay,
Nice.
so my next question, I'm just wondering. Now you seem to be very much in love with GIS,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering, when we started, you were talking about the fact that you didn't really want to do geography or anything relating to this. You were interested in economics. I'm not surprised you are interested now in cryptocurrency because it looks it looks like your interest in those monetary sector has been there for a while. But
Yeah.
if you had not done GIS, what other profession do you think you would have been interested in?
Yeah, of course, you just said it right. Honestly, anything that has gotten something to do with, let's say, money, as long as I pretty much kind of count money or see numbers going up and down each and every single day. I really, really love that bit. Because I mean, in with economics, you are computing profits, losses here and there, and I kind of loved that whole aspect, and it's something that up to now cannot be taken from me. Now, if I never had GIS, definitely I would be a full time, probably a stock trader or a full time forex trader. Who knows? Maybe an accountant or something. Yeah, pretty much anything that has gotten something to do with numbers, percentages, and moving up and down.
I think it will interest you to know that on Thursday we're actually going to have a guest who is going to talk about how they are using GIS to do budgeting and planning.
Nice.
Yeah, so you can still be use your GIS and become
Yeah,
one of those people if you want to learn.
absolutely, absolutely. The
So
only
that
limitation,
is
the
the
only
beauty.
limitation is your imagination. That's it.
Yes, that's the beauty
That's
about
it.
GIS. You
Very
can
good.
virtually go into everything you want to, and
Yeah.
it's not really something that is restricted, and it makes it
Mhm.
very dynamic for me. Isaac
Exactly.
Newton wants to know what GIS tools do you normally use in your daily activities?
Okay. So for now, in fact, for the past 4 or 5 months, my number one GIS tool has always been QGIS. My number one has always been QGIS for the past 4 months. But of course, my first love would always and forever be the ArcGIS suit because yeah, I love it so much and it's really really made me who I am. So I use GIS a lot. I mean, I use QGIS a lot. Of course, I do use ArcMap also from time to time. Now there's a software also called Ultrix. I don't know. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, not so much popular, but it's more like a data science and financial based software, let me just put it like that. But then it has geospatial tools. So it happened that last year I had a contract, and then I was forced to use that, and it has also stuck with me ever since. And from time to time, I play around with Ultrix too. So these three softwares are more like my number one, or let me just say my top three GIS tools that I've been using.
Okay, so what would you say are the the most valuable skill sets for a GIS specialist?
The most valuable skill sets, first of all, I think that if you want to be a GIS specialist, go back to the roots and learn geography. The reason why I'm saying this is because there is no GIS without geography, and geography basically forms the fundamentals of GIS. The next thing that you would have to master at least, maybe you could master at least a programming language. I would always recommend Python or R as some skill sets that you could also have in your arsenal. So please just make sure you have some geography backgrounds, mainly because whatever we seek to do with GIS, this it's built under the entire scope of geography, answering the questions of where, when, how, why. That is what we want to do with GIS. That is basically the whole geospatial industry works about. The only thing here is that we've blended a super technology into it to answer these questions. So get a basic background and understanding of what geography is. I always say it's number one. Get at least some programming language, Python or R, I would recommend. Get these two and just make yourself versatile. I think when you get this, you should be good.
Okay, so I think this is related. This is very close. So Newton also wants to. Uh, I think Frederick Awaje wants to know what advice would you give to a young man interested in GIS in a country like Ghana?
Learn everything. Learn everything and read everything and work a little harder, because yes, it's an emerging industry, and then day in and day out, Francis, you just mentioned it. Lots of students are getting interested, especially when they see you, when they see me, when they see some other colleagues of ours, who are somewhere now, basically because of their skills in GIS. And it's amazing. I feel like just learn anything, be able to think outside the box, and do not get stuck only on ArcGIS or QGIS or anything, no. But then try and expand your horizon in the area of at least web development and software development, okay? Because that is what will get you to the level that you really, really want to get to. This time around, when you tell somebody to study at least a programming language, the person will really be like, I don't really need it. But um, Francis, you would bear with me that in this our times where GIS is getting to, the very first thing is you getting some sort of programming language in your arsenal is very, very, very crucial. It is very, very critical. So in a place like Ghana, if you really want to excel with the skills of GIS, don't just go with a GIS that this is what I have, GIS certificate, but then be able to show, okay, I can code in this, I can do this, and I can do that. This is because when you are able to add some sort of programming languages and expand your horizon in the field of coding, basically you are going to go beyond the limitations of some applications. People are paying over $10,000 just for a single ArcGIS license, just to create a simple web application. Okay. Now just imagine that $10,000 can be yours if you can spend 1 week to build an enterprise system or a customized system for such a client. It's a good money, it's a good venture. So I feel it's all about self-development. Develop yourself, learn a couple of languages, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, very, very cool things. You could add Django to it, add Joserva, Postgre, and all these things. Just learn a bit of everything, and then make yourself get to that level that you really want to get to in Ghana. Because With my experience, I know that GIS alone in Ghana would hardly get you anywhere. That is the truth of the matter. I mean, to be honest. So if we're able to add some, programming languages experience to it, then you know that you are really, really going somewhere. Yeah. So that is my advice to any young person who wants to pursue this career.
Okay, yes, I think that it's to add to what you said. It's sometimes
Yeah.
interesting for people to acknowledge the fact that uh, the GIS that we are actually learning, we are interested in it because of the kind of control it gives us, like you said
Yeah.
earlier on. And if you learn to use a GIS software, at some level you feel you are in control. But at some
Exactly.
point you become rigid. You
Limited.
still you
Yes.
feel like
Exactly.
you don't have the kind of control that you need. And
Exactly.
programming is one of the things that gives you the power to tell the computer what
Yes.
it should do,
Yes.
and it will do it.
Yes.
Regardless of what any professor in any school thinks or whatever
Perfect.
anyone thinks, you tell the
Perfect.
computer what you should do. So I think it's
Exactly.
it's it's the way forward to have a
Hmm.
total control over your computer. It's
Yeah.
like it's a gold mine.
Exactly.
Yeah, to have a
Exactly.
control over a computer is a gold
Yeah.
mine. So
That
I
is.
think the
That is.
programming, yeah, the programming language is very, very important. I think
Yeah.
Erica Sabi also wants to uh, find out that he says sometimes learning programming is quite abstract.
Hmm.
What advice do you have for someone who is trying to learn programming, especially if the person doesn't have any computer science background or anything like that? Do you have any
Yeah.
advice to encourage?
I do. I do. Now, I started learning programming in level 300 second semester because of a man that I met who told me that I should learn web development in level 300. And trust me, it was a rough beginning because Erica just said the whole thing. It's very abstract. I start and I just keep the pace, maybe a month or two, and I stop. Okay, because I felt like, what am I even using this for? Because I'm not really solving any challenge with it. But in the process, I realized that it's not about me basically something being practical or not. You can practicalize everything, any abstract thing. This is why I'm saying that if you are learning Python, for instance, you are not really getting any real data. Let me just put it like that. You are not getting any real data to play with. Okay, you don't have shape files or whatever it is to do what it is that maybe if you're watching a tutorial they are doing, you don't have access to that data, and then everything seems abstract for you. You always have to find a way of practicalizing it. When I was learning automation with Python, the video that I was watching and the books that I was reading and the data that they were using, I didn't have access to that. So what was I using? I'll go to RSGIS website, the data sharing applications, download any available data, and then I'll play with it even as it is. Where they are using some information that I do not have, let's say the particular attribution that is not on the data that I am using, all I have to do, I will just look at what they have and then try and then replicate the same attribute information into it so that I can use to run my script and then it works. So I feel it's all about conceptualizing and then trying to practicalize what you are learning. The second thing that is very important is finding somebody to work with, finding somebody to learn with. In my journey of this whole GIS thing, at least I have gotten the opportunity to learn from two people and even peer code with a person, somebody who is like a senior developer earning about $120,000 per year in US. He is based in Redlands, California, and he consults even for Esri. I had a chance for a period of 3 months to peer code with him. And when I was starting, I was like this. By the time I got done with him, by the end of that 3 months, trust me, my level has basically increased up to this point. Okay. So I always feel like getting somebody who is a lot experienced in the field and then You could try peer code and then have constant interaction with that person. The person gives you advice and all that. Everything that you are doing is not going to be abstract anymore because that person has already had um, been able to play with whatever you are learning now in real life, and he can give you advice on how it actually operates, how it actually works. And at that moment, you really feel like, okay, it does work. It's really doable in real life. So that is basically my advice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure. So would you say that GIS is the mainstream, your mainstream income source?
That's a no. That's a no.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I do have other streams of income. Well, basically, I could see that cryptocurrency at the end of the month basically gives me maybe 20% more than my all GIS works and all that. But of course, if you have a very good GIS contract, it pays a lot. Trust me.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting to know that aside everything, but I think that one of the things that I feel we indirectly don't realize or
Hmm.
recognize is the fact that if you do GIS, you automatically becomes a computer scientist
Exactly.
because the fear of computer is overcome with GIS.
Hmm.
If you are able to do GIS to some point, you will start to feel you have to control the computer than the computer controlling you. So
Control.
it's very
Exactly.
easy to do some of these things like the cryptocurrency and other things because uh, obviously you if anyone who has not been doing anything computing or who is not a pure computer science will see all the things in cryptocurrencies as foreign.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I
Yeah.
think that there are some of these things that we don't really
Yeah.
focus on, but it builds some part of us that that's
Yes,
very
yes,
important.
it's true because if my field where I started from and all that, you do training. We've done training together, myself and you. We've taken classes with sessions with undergrads and all that, and you realize that sometimes the very first time you introduce a particular class to a GIS software, instantly they get intimidated by the software. They just get intimidated straight away.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, relax. You are controlling the software, and the software is not really controlling. People see icons on ArcMap and they're like, oh God, I really don't know where to click, and I do no. So you just said it right. Once you are able to master the art of controlling the software, I think anything else comes easy. So you are right.
Yes, so I think that for those of us who are still watching us, we are still interested in the questions you want us to ask Mr. Akins. We have 9 minutes more with him, and then I'm sure he'll be happy to talk about or discuss some of the questions that you have. But one of the things
Absolutely.
that I think that uh, many people, especially enthusiasts of GIS, think about is where to start from because many people by the time they hear of GIS they already are in a particular discipline. They
Yeah.
are already doing economics, they are already doing computer science, or they're already doing a particular discipline, maybe a Greek, which they find very interesting or they found very having a prospect, but they want to do GIS.
Yeah.
Should they stop agric, computer science, or whatever they are doing so that they can come and do GIS? Or where do they start from? How do they get to become GIS professionals from where they
Okay.
are?
Nice. So the answer to this question, I feel it's pretty much simple. You can never stop the field, or you can't just throw whichever field that you are currently in and say you are going to take up GIS. The first thing that will even drive your motivation to study GIS is first asking yourself, how is this GIS thing going to fit into what I'm currently doing? It's the basic thing you have to first ask yourself. I am a telecommunication engineer. okay, and I want to learn GIS. If I want to learn GIS, let me ask myself, how can I apply GIS principles into my telecommunication engineering? You have two things. Okay, you can't just drop telecommunication engineering and say, I'm taking up GIS. No, in the process, you're going to break and then you might lose interest and you have to come back to telecommunication engineering again. So this is how it works. Start by learning the fundamentals of GIS. You get to know GIS applications. How is it applied? Okay, read more because now we are in an era where information is everywhere. Okay, how is GIS applied in the area of telecommunication, in the area of utility management? Then you basically focus on those areas more. Okay, so maybe database, you must understand database management, you must understand this, you must understand that. You focus in there a lot more, and then you find your way inside. Before I realize, at least you understand databases in GIS, you understand how to create let's say feature classes or feature data sets. You understand how to work with open source systems to create telecom inventories and all these things. That's it. That is all you need. You do not have to dump whatever it is that you are doing. All you have to do is find a place, a common ground for GIS, and then whatever it is that you are doing, and then merge the two. That's it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. There are two main sides of GIS. GIS is a technical approach, and
Yeah,
then there is what I call the subject domain. So
correct.
whatever you are using GIS for, you are applying it in a particular subject or in a particular domain. And
Yeah,
like I think Ben, you said earlier on that if you want to learn GIS, learn geography. Geography is like learning almost everything about the earth. But
exactly.
everything about the earth, there are people who have taken small portions of the earth and say that is their specialization.
Mm-hmm.
So geography talks about human geography, which is broad, physical geography, which is broad. But a geologist says that I only study rocks and the minerals that are in them. So
Mm-hmm.
he's a specialist there. That knowledge they gain there with the technical knowledge of GIS can help the geologist to find more minerals.
Fact,
Yeah.
fact,
So
fact.
if you're a hydrologist and you do water, it can help the hydrologist to be able to determine water pollution or to be able to
Exactly,
determine the sources of pollutants and help to how to solve them. It can tell him
exactly,
where potential places he can get more water and drill and stuff.
exactly,
So
exactly.
we don't need to throw away the subject domain that we have. It's very
Yes,
informative because when you are
exactly,
applying the technical part, interpreting
exactly,
the results, sometimes you need that subject domain. So
exactly.
I think I agree with you on
Yeah,
that. And
yeah.
someone wants to know, Jifa wants to know, apart from cryptocurrency and then GIS and work, what do you do? What do you do for fun?
Yeah, I play video games too. I play NBA 2K a lot, and I finished playing FIFA about an hour ago before I prepared for this session. So I do play FIFA too a lot. So yeah.
I think that we have Seriam Goso who is interested in how is applied GIS used in telecom industry in Ghana.
Okay. So in Ghana, I pretty much cannot say a lot because I've not worked with any telecommunication industry in Ghana. However, I could speak for elsewhere because I have worked with Verizon, I have worked with Tesonic, I have worked with Coal, and these are all foreign companies. And then what we do is that, or what I did then basically involved creation of web applications to manage their telecommunication. At some point, we use a tool called 3GIS, 3 as in letter 3, 3GIS, and we incorporated it with Esri to basically manage inventory for telecommunications. So we would basically map all the telecom lines. If they are fiber cables, if they are copper cables, we map all of them to the various households. We call them demand points. And then we also map the poles that they are all, passing on. We model the whole telecom infrastructure. We model it such that if I am here at home and I have an issue with my router and I call Vodafone, okay, this is where I am, and on my router, there would be a number in there, which is my demand point number. All I have to do is tell them that this is the demand point that I am. From the office, they can basically run a trace. So when you are working with fiber cable, you can run a trace, and then it will basically route on the network where the lines that fit my house, okay, all the telecom cables, the cables that fit my house. If it's underground, the system will point that it's underground. If it is overhead, it will point that it is overhead. Okay. Also, in the process of even planning or deploying other areas, when telecommunications want to expand their areas, they deploy to a lot more areas. They do expansion. GIS basically we used to tell, okay, do we have to do an underground here, given the kind of buildings and the pavement types in the place? If it's a pavement that can easily be removed, and then underground cables can be laid in there and then be directed to the various households, then we do that. If it's not a place like that and it has lots of existing telecommunication poles, then we just use that. We map all the poles and we map the new deployment to the various demand points and all that. So basically, in the nutshell, in the summary, there are a lot more that goes into it. In the nutshell, that is a general application of GIS in the telecom industry. I really do not know if it's done in Ghana, yeah, but elsewhere, this is how it's done.
Okay. It's been a wonderful time with you, Ben. I think
Thank
that
you.
we have all been inspired with the numerous works that you've done over the years. And I think that to those of you who are watching us and you've been wondering or you had questions and you have been inspired by what Ben has shared, I think it would be nice if you can share it. Uh, you can share it, leave it in the YouTube comments, or you can share it on the Word Geospatial Telegram page, and then we'll be able to look at it and also enjoy your inspiration. Tomorrow we will be going to have uh, s- a guest from IFDC who actually applies GIS in fertilizer application. We are thinking that it's one of the interesting places. Personally, I'm interested in
Yeah,
that. Our
yeah.
host is going to be Jamina from South Africa. So Jamina will be uh, hosting Isaac Newton from IFDC. And as the same time, as 8 p.m. Ghana time or 20 o'clock GMT, you tune into the YouTube or the Telegram, and then we'll be able to view live. Those of us who we apologize for not hearing the voice on the Telegram live stream, but we'll face that hopefully tomorrow so you can be able to get more details. But I've seen people are now asking more questions. Uh, it's 9 o'clock. We give ourselves 1 hour. We want to respect that. But I will just take the last two questions and then we'll just um, call it a good evening. So the question is the person is if someone is interested to enroll for master's degree specializing in GIS, what advice can you give with regards to choosing the research topic?
Okay.
The person wanted to add something. He said and stop it, but maybe we can just give him an
Okay.
advice.
Um, so basically, when regarding choosing a research topic, I think the very first thing that you should notice is that choose an area that you would love to study. When it comes, this is general and true for any research that you want to embark on. If you are not really interested, if you don't love the area that you want to study, please don't study it, because research is driven by drive. It's basically carried by drive and what motivation. If you don't have the drive, if you don't have that interest and love for the area that you want to study, then don't study it. The next thing that you have to do, whatever it is that you are studying, just look at availability of materials. Okay, look at what people have done. Look at the areas. What are the similar things that people have done, and what do I seek to better? Look at availability of data. Please, it's a living hell. It's a pain when you take a research topic and at the end of the day you do not have any idea where you are going to get data to execute the research topic. Okay, so please, you make sure whatever topic that you are choosing, there is an data available for that. Search for existing works not on the same topic, because your topic should be original, but then similar things that people have done, and then what you think you can do better in that aspect, and that should be it.
Okay, I think that's cool. So the last question says, what should be a fair salary for an entry level position in GIS in Ghana?
Okay, I think for an entry level position in Ghana, a very fair salary, in my opinion, should be 2,500. Should be okay for an entry level, 2,500. That is my, yeah. I think so, but
Yes, but for those who are listening to us and are actually entry level, it is very important to understand that yes, money is good, and like Ben said, each of us, our level of demands would influence the way we weigh money. But
exactly.
remember, in GIS, the field is broad. You need a lot of experience to
Mm,
really feel comfortable in it. So sometimes even if you are not paid that 2,500, but you think that what the kind of job they are using you for, the kind of experience they are giving you, fits into your long term plan, you can
plan.
get a jump. So you can
Sure.
start a job that is paying you 1,500,
Mm,
and after 2 years, because of the kind of skills you've accumulated over the years, the next job would be paying you maybe 6,000 or
yeah.
8,000,
Yeah.
because of the kind of jump you've had. So some people graduate, uh, let's say, geometrically, others graduate arithmetically. So you need to look at yourself. If what they are giving you is enough to take care of your transportation and your basic needs, and you can
Yeah.
still get some to save, and you think you are getting good experience from there, that is okay. If you think
Yeah.
that you are being underused and you are not learning anything new and also not paid well, then you can look for better
You can walk away.
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
money is
think
quite
you
tricky.
just,
Yeah, money is
yeah,
quite
what
tricky.
what
So
what what you just raised is absolutely important, because um, when I started working, when I was out of school and I started working, I really I worked for about four different people, and with them, and never did I even, they would ask me, how much are you going to charge, and I would just tell them, I can't really charge, just give me what you really want to give me. And now these same people, when I tell them that, they know that there's a range that they can never go below, because you don't even need to charge, but you know that whatever that is going to come in is basically going to be okay for you. Okay, so I think, yeah, Francis, you just put the whole thing right. Yes, money is good, but
yeah, I
then
mean,
let it not be the driving factor. At the end of the day, skill accumulation, and then you putting yourself on a very good ground is key. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's very important. So,
Yeah.
thank you very much. We wish we could have this conversation for an entire day. You know, we can talk for the whole day,
Yeah.
but we want to respect the time of our audience. We gave them 1 hour, and we want to stick to the 1 hour. And those who have more questions for us, we'll be happy if you take it, you go back to the Telegram, put it there. Ben is on the Telegram page. He will respond to them when he sees
Definitely.
them. Subsequent podcast is also going to come within the week. I think we have a pile up of guests who are going to from Digital Africa, who will also be speaking to us on Wednesday after the IFDC podcast. We also have one for um, Deloitte. We have one for Deloitte, and then we have one guest from South Africa, who is a hydrologist who is now very interested in applying GIS to hydrology, and she would tell us more about the things that we she that inspires her what she's learning. So we'll be happy to see all of you guys every time, every evening from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And on Saturday, the massive launch of SDI would be up. I think it's long overdue, where we have provided data as well geospatial to
Yeah.
individuals by flying it through their emails over time. And we have seen the challenge that comes with the duplication and uh, some sort of non-accreditation to the data that comes with that method. We have provided a very big SDI, which all of us can contribute to by sharing our data and taking data from there. We are
Nice.
also putting in measures in place to make sure we will always make data available. At least we can give you a baseline data to start from, and you can build with it. Until tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. or 20 GMT, we'll say bye bye for now. And nice having you, Ben.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Okay. We'll see
Okay.
you
See
guys.
you.
Bye bye.
Definitely. Bye.